Today I have the pleasure of talking to Mr. Georg Spöttle, who is a security policy expert at the Nézőpont Intézet Foundation, which is a Hungarian-owned think tank established back in 2006. Hello, Mr. Spöttle.
Hi, good morning. Hi, dear Raul.
First of all, thank you very much for finding time to talk to me in order to explain.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. And may I ask you to explain a little bit in a few words what the Nézőpont Intézet Foundation is all about and what is your own role in the foundation, so as to give our listeners a little bit of a background of where you yourself are coming from.
Well, as told, the Nézőpont Intézet is a think tank of the government. We made Gallup poll. What are people thinking about the government, about the opposition, about currently political situation, or about acting the European Union? This is our main product daily. We are in contact with the government, of course, and sometimes we writing expertise about a situation like illegal immigration. And this is the main part of my job because I'm a former German army and police officer in the field of counterterrorism and illegal immigration. And so that's what I do here in Hungary for the Nézőpont and so indirect for the government.
Very good. The main reason why we decided to make this conversation is that throughout the last week or throughout the last days, the liberal media has been very angry with Hungary because of the measures taken in the context of the state of danger. So let me ask you a few questions in order to explain what the situation is really all about in Hungary and whether it coincides with the accusations the liberal media has been hearing. So first of all, let me ask you, has the current state of danger been declared in accordance with the fundamental law of Hungary and other relevant laws? And also, why was it originally declared by the National Assembly, which is the parliament, but prolonged by the government?
Yeah, it's absolutely in line with the constitution and with not just with the Hungarian national law, also with the European law. And it's a totally fake news from the liberal media here in Hungary or international, should be the same, your country, Estonia or Germany or Austrian newspaper writing daily this here is dictatorism and populism in Hungary. No, I checked the Austrian, the German, and also the French state of danger. And what the Hungarian government acting now is exactly the same. We close the schools. Of course, we have to protect the teachers and the students. It's more dangerous for elderly people, so more for the professors and for the teachers at the schools. And we close also the borders. We did it much sooner, like Germany or Austria acting, because we saw that many people that are coming from Iran. We have here nearly 5,000 Iranian students currently. In Iran, is get the first big problem with the COVID-19 coronavirus, and after the spread in Italy and in Germany. And of course, we closed very fast the borders because we saw that when Italian people went to skiing to Austria, especially the part of Tyrol, thousands of people were infected within days. Mm-hmm. And we want to avoid that, and we did it. And with the closing the borders, we protecting the people here, and we checked all the foreign students, especially the Iranians, and put in the hospital in the quarantine. All are healthy now and leave the quarantine. So the measures what the government did, acting very fast and very correct, is according with every national law. The problem with the National Assembly, with the parliament's work, that the liberals and the socialists and also the Jobbik, this former dangerous neo-Nazi racist party, no, but they joined together against President Orban and against the Hungarian government. And tell it clearly, the voters, 2/3 of the voters, many people supporting this government now in a third legislature period. And when President Orban and the government, we did 2/3 acting, but asking the National Assembly, the parliament, to make possible the state of danger, to closing the borders, closing the schools, the people, especially elderly, from 65 years to elder should staying at home, and if is it possible, the people that working in different kind of office or businesses do the work at home in home office, they don't want to vote for that. We don't understand why, and of course with 2/3 the government can acting and did it.
But let me specify also this question in the sense that the Constitution of the Republic of Hungary clearly foresees the possibility of establishing such a state of danger by the government in a situation like this. I checked also the Constitution, Article 52 says that in the event of a natural or industrial disaster endangering lives or property, or in order to mitigate the consequences thereof, the government shall declare a state of danger and may introduce extraordinary measures laid down in a cardinal act of parliament. So as I understand, what has been done by the government is exactly in accordance with what is stated in the Constitution.
Exactly according, yes. And the government was very fair with the opposition, called all the opposition parties to support this act of the government, but they did not. They're lying. That is a part of a dictatorism, that the government will send soldiers on the street, that the freedom of speech and freedom of journalism will ban here, and this is absolutely not true. As I told, we have exactly the same measures like in Austria and in our neighbor country, or French, or Spain, or Italy. It's according with the national law, and with the European Union's law.
Okay, but let us move on to the second question, and let me ask you if it's true that the state of danger has been declared without temporal limits, which means that is it declared for an indefinite period of time?
Yeah, in the first time is got a timeline limit for. I was guessed for 1 week.
2 weeks, I think it was.
Or 2 weeks. It was not enough, of course. And to make a timeline, time frame for this state of danger make no sense, because we don't know how long this situation will be. It's maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, or on the worst case could be longer. Maybe the situation end maybe just an end to September, October, and so make no sense to make a time frame for that. But the parliament can ban this state of danger within 5 days when they come together. So it's not a big issue.
But I also understand that the state of danger is actually limited in time, in the sense that it is declared for the time of the pandemic. So when the pandemic comes to an end.
Pandemic, and when the pandemic ends, then ends the state of danger, of course.
But what you also mentioned is also very important, because in Estonia, for example, my country, we don't call it the state of danger, we call it the extraordinary situation. It has been declared by the government, and it can only be terminated by the government. So as I understand, in Hungary the situation is very different, in the sense that the parliament can also terminate the state of danger, right?
Yeah, sure, can, within 5 days.
So so it emerges that in Hungary parliament has more control over the situation than in Estonia.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually. So I can tell it's a bit more democracy maybe here in Hungary.
I'm not surprised. But let me ask you the next question. So does the government have unlimited power during the state of danger that has been declared? Or is the extraordinary powers of the government limited to dealing with the outbreak of the coronavirus and still constitutionally restricted?
Sure, it's no unlimited power. It's close to the Constitution, and it's very funny because the liberals told for the international press, especially CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, for the liberal side, Orban has no unlimited power. It's not true, because the power has the government, has the parliament, and not President Orban. And the president acting here together with the highest medical officer, with the military, with the police together, with the director of all the hospitals. And it's daily a briefing for the situation, not just for the government, for the ordinary people too. Every day, 11 o'clock on the MTV1 is the state TV. It's the name of Objektiiv is a special kind of the government department is the police, the highest medical officer, and the army and government members in this department, and made briefing for the people on TV, online, live every day. What is the situation? How many ill people we have in the country? How many die? How many left health in the hospital? And about every measure what the government did daily.
I suppose that's pretty much the case in all countries, and it's no different in Hungary in that sense. But what is especially interesting to me and what caught my attention is the fact that in your constitution, in Article 53, it is stated very clearly that the application of the fundamental law may not be suspended under the special legal order, nor may the functioning of the constitutional court be restricted. So that means that the constitution still is in place and the constitutional court also operates.
And no human rights are suspended. It's only the people should stay at home. Who has not to work in the supermarket or in a very important factory, especially for the food market, or working in a hospital or somewhere, should staying at home, working at home, and especially retired elder people should staying at home. They have to go to the supermarkets or to the farmer market just between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock noon, because they're more in danger than younger people, because younger people get infected, maybe have not even symptoms. But elder people, so 65 and older, are pretty danger now.
Yes, that's true. And do I understand correctly that in addition to what I already quoted from the Constitution, that the Constitution remains in force and so does the operation of the Constitutional Court, the special law that has been promulgated in order to declare the state of danger also says that the government only has special authorization to deal with issues concerning the coronavirus outbreak. It's not that it can deal with everything on a special...
No, sure not.
Yeah.
No, just with the coronavirus is true.
So basically the claim that the authority of the government is unlimited is simply incorrect.
Is incorrect, but very interesting. The mayor of Budapest, Mr. Gergely Karácsony, has unlimited power now, because he suspended. I make some notice for you. Just please wait a sec for this question. Yeah, because the mayor suspended the Metropolitan Assembly and acting alone, like in the case of a real martial law. He ruled on the power plants, water supply services, the public transportation, and he has no more power than the PM, Mr. Viktor Orban. It's very interesting, but the liberal press writing or telling no word about this case.
And he's from a liberal party, right?
He's from the Liberal Party. He's a former socialist and put together with the liberals and with the former neo-Nazis, and acting now absolutely like a dictator. And what he did make no sense, because he started less buses, metros and trams yesterday in the city, because he thought more people working at home now, and so we need not too much public transport. But the case was in the afternoon and the evening, the buses and the metro, the subway was so crowded, and of course it's most dangerous because the people can infect each other.
But there is no criticism of his undertaking.
Absolutely not, because he's from the liberal side here for illegal immigration and for gender studies and everything what the liberals been pushing here for our country.
Yes, I understand that's the usual pattern. But let us move on. The media is also lamenting that during this state of danger, the Hungarian criminal code has been changed so as to criminalize the disseminating in front of large audience any untrue fact or any mispresented true fact that is capable of causing disturbance or unrest in a larger group of persons at the sight of public danger, and making it punishable by imprisonment of up to 3 years. So I wanted to ask you, is this change in the criminal code aimed at the suppression of liberal or free media, and does it constitute a real danger to the freedom of speech?
No, absolutely not. It's not against the media, not even against the liberal media, against President Orbán and our government. Indeed, the police arrested some people, but they are not journalists. They are simply criminals. They make fake news sites, and in Google or Mozilla or whatever, you earn more clicks, you earn more money, and they're spreading fake news in Hungary and also international. There's people dying here. The government did nothing, and the people collapsing on the street, and it's a government cover-up operation. How many dead we already have here in the country, and of course, the criminal investigators arrested these people and interrogated, but then free feet again, so then can using all legal acts can go to the court or can give an engagement for a lawyer. So we will punish, of course, but not with jail. But when somebody spreading fake news here, and fake news can be dangerous because when people writing is no food in the stores or no money in the banks, and the people go to the banks and put all the money, or go to the grocery store and buying like crazy everything, flour, sugar, canned food, everything. It could be, of course, dangerous because we have money enough, we have food enough, but the people thinking is a very bad situation now, and that it could be worse, and so we will avoid this situation. But not one single journalist is arrested here, and of course we have many anti-government newspapers and TVs and website, and not even one single is shut down or banned, or not a single journalist molested by the police or arrested or banned from his job.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you, because the biggest daily newspaper in Estonia, called The Mailman, or Postimees in Estonian language, claimed in its editorial a few days ago that two of the biggest privately owned newspapers have been closed down in Hungary, and that the National Broadcasting Union has become the press bureau of the Prime Minister. How would you comment about this claim that there is no independent media, almost no independent media remaining in Hungary that would be critical of the government?
Sorry to telling this, because newspaper from your country, but they're lying. This is absolutely fake news, because no newspaper shut down here. The last newspaper was here shut down before 5 years ago. It was the journal of the Socialist Party, but it was not a political reason. The publisher goes bankruptcy. That was only the reason 5 years ago. And now working here against the government, 7 different newspapers and 2 TV channels. Pro-government newspaper, we have only 3, and we have 2 TV channels, one the State TV and one the TV2, is close to the government. But 7 anti-government newspapers. So we're working hard against the fake news and about this, not just fake news.
So let me specify: 7 newspapers which are critical of the government all the time, and more or less 3 newspapers which are more or less supportive of the government.
Government, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and also let me specify the 2 biggest newspapers in Hungary have not been closing their doors recently throughout the last years, no?
No.
So
I'm interested. They're writing some names. How the newspaper?
Yeah, what are the biggest newspapers in Hungary?
No. It's 2 big newspapers here. One anti-government is the Népszava. It's for the former communist newspaper. No, it's more for the liberals and for the Socialist Party. And the other one is the Magyar Nemzet, is the pro-government, is the 2 largest daily newspaper here, but no one is shut down.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So this is a complete lie.
Complete lie, yes, sir.
And in addition to what I asked, let me also ask, have any journalists been recently persecuted? No, let's not use this word persecuted. Have they been prosecuted by the legal authorities, let's say in the last 3 or 5 years? Any journalists simply for criticizing the government? It's
my job also. I checking every day also the Hungarian news, of course, also the liberal and the socialist media, and no single journalist was hurt here or prosecuted or arrested or interrogated by the police. And if somebody speaks Hungarian, I do because my dad was Hungarian and my mom German. And of course, I speak fluently the Hungarian language, and I read it, and how worse things are writing every day about President Orban, about the Fidesz voters, and every single person they're ruling this Christian Hungarian tradition, and we have this traditional Hungarian way with family. It's a family, male and female and kids, and don't want to have this gender idiotism like in many countries. We don't want it. And of course, this newspaper are for the CEU, for the Soros University, for gender studies, to banning this the holiness of family and everything what our normal European way was in the last 500 years or more.
Yes, I completely understand. I personally have the same position, and fortunately our government is also now more conservative than it used to be, and it resembles more the positions of the Hungarian government than it did previously. But let us be clear then about this, that no journalists have been prosecuted throughout the last years. So
I've seen one interrogated, prosecuted, or hurt anyway from the government.
Very good. So, in the Estonian media, throughout the last, let's say, already for years, I would say, there has been a very, very aggressive tone against Hungary. And the same editorial I mentioned a few minutes ago in the biggest daily newspaper in Estonia, just a few days ago referred to the Hungarian government as a dictatorial regime. They also claim that Hungary has left the free world and resembles Putin's Russia. Recently, in our Public Broadcasting Union program, they suggested that Hungary follows the example of Russia, China, and Turkey. So my question to you is that why is the liberal media, not only in Estonia, but in many other European countries, so incredibly angry at Hungary? And why do they publish the same accusations in different countries all the time? Is it a coordinated campaign against Hungary, or what is it?
Sure, is coordinated because Hungary don't let a single illegal immigrant in the country. In 2015, 1st of September, we built a fence to protect our border, because before 2015, 1st of September, a few days, more than 10,000 illegal immigrants crossing the border to go to Germany, to go to the Scandinavian countries, and we shut our borders down. And that's the problem, because we reject the illegal immigration. After that, the liberal media and liberal politicals attacking us daily, and writing lies, spreading fake news about Hungary and about the Hungarian government. And the main problem is the illegal immigration. This is the only reason why we are attacked. And you see what happened yesterday in Brussels.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the Estonian National Broadcasting Union actually completely misreported about what happened there. It said that Estonia also joined a statement against Hungary, but in fact the statement didn't even mention Hungary. So they use every possibility to point their aggression at Hungary. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big problem, because the Hungarian voters supporting President Orban and the government, or country is no before the current situation was in a very good situation. The economy growing every year, especially the tourism is every year growing more than 20%. And we have very good connection to the United States. Our strongest business partner is Germany. The Audi, Volkswagen, the BMW producing in Hungary. Germany is our main business partner, and it's ridiculous when Chancellor Merkel meet Mr. Putin or Mr. Erdogan. This is normal. Then the people think they're speaking about business and it's good for both of the countries. And when Mr. Orban meets Putin or Erdogan, then it's a meeting of bad people, meeting of dictators. Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous, because in Germany, selling the most luxury cars for Russia and get gas and get oil from Russia. 1/5 of the German oil production is from Russia. We're buying from Russia. And that is normal, but when we make some deal with President Putin or President Erdogan, this is a worse thing. So it's simply ridiculous and simply not true what they are telling about us.
Yeah, an operation of double standards, very clearly.
Absolutely double standards, yeah. Is the correct word for that.
As the final question, let me ask you, what about the popular support to the government in general and the measures it has taken to handle the current crisis in particular? So does the government enjoy popular support, and specifically for the measures that have been taken during the state of danger?
Absolutely. The Nézőpont Intézet just made a Gallup poll, and 94% of the Hungarian population supporting President Orbán and the government and every measures in the state of emergency. And it's very interesting because we made a second Gallup poll, and 80% as of on the not Orbán voters, as of on liberals, from socialists, or for the former neo-Nazis, as of supporting 80%. The government measures. So I think the government did a good job. The people see that, and we have only 600 ill people here in Hungary, and when we see in the neighbor countries, Austria, nearly 5,000. As in Romania, 2,500 this morning. So I think our situation is the best here in the V4 countries and here in Eastern Europe, and the people see that.
Yes. So let me just repeat: more than 90% of the population of Hungary supports.
94, yes.
And even 80% of the supporters of the opposition supports the measures taken. Yeah.
Yes, because the people see how many special medical equipment ordered by the government now. The government mobilized now nearly $1 billion for supporting the hospitals, medical staff, and also the people who are losing jobs now, especially taxi driver, waitresses, baristas, people who are working in the coffee shops and in the hotels, because nearly all the hotels are shut down now. My girlfriend works for Hilton here in Budapest, and no gas currently. So it's a big problem for taxi drivers and every people who are working in the tourism and in restaurants and such kind of businesses, and the government will help these people with no taxes, and also people they have now buying some, maybe a new car or apartment or something, and has debt where the bank has not to pay the mortgage to end of this year, and it's a big help for the people now.
It is very telling that while the European Union and liberal media in other countries is mad at Hungarian people support the steps taken by the government. So one should ask in this situation, what does the ideal of democracy actually mean? Does it mean that you have to follow the directions of the European Union, or do you have to follow the expectations of your own people? So that's what I have always liked about Hungary, that it takes the ideal of democracy seriously.
Yeah, we have democracy here, and when I see the state of emergency in Austria, Germany, France, United States, it's exactly the same. The government did the same measures here with closing the borders, closing the schools to protect the professors, protect the children, the students. And I think those are good things, and the people will see that. And I think the next election will remember how the government, how Mr. President Orbán acting. And I hope for the next period we will win again.
Yes. What's your personal expectation? Is there a danger, is there a likelihood that the normal situation will not be restored anytime soon? Or do you think that these are all simply unfounded claims, unfounded fears? I mean, the contrary. What the liberal media is saying, that, there has been a power grab, and now the government will not give the authority back to the parliament, which is of course wrong in the sense that the parliament can take the authority back.
Yeah, sure, absolutely can take the authority. It's not a problem. If the liberals and the socialists came to the parliament and voting, can get back the authority within 1 hour. It's not a problem.
So, but I mean, my question was a little bit vague. We don't know for how long the pandemic will last.
We see in China, after 4 or 5 months, this situation going to be better now. Mm-hmm. The exit restriction is lifted in Wuhan, and the factories producing again. The people can go to work, and we hope, of course, that maybe in July or in August the situation could be normalized here in Hungary too, and not just in Hungary and rest of the Europe too. We hope it.
And you don't have any doubt that it will be restored once the pandemic comes to an end? No.
Yeah, sure, it should come to an end, and we have no model how a pandemic works, because it's the first situation in our time, and we can just watch what happened in China, what's happening in other countries, and we see in China in almost 5 months this situation going to be better, and we can hope here too. And positively, we acting faster like the Chinese government to closing the schools, closing the offices, closing the borders, and no aircrafts let in for such kind of countries like Italy, Spain. There could be the people could be infected and could be dangerous for other people too. So maybe this fast acting helps the situation going to be normal in 4 or 5 months. We hope it. Right. But as I told, it's no model for this pandemic in our modern time.
Very good, very good. So let me thank you very much for this interview, and let me wish you.
It was my pleasure.
I wish you and your country all the best, and I hope Hungary manages to overcome the crisis and also attacks that are aimed at it. I have
my best wishes also for Estonia. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy.
Yes, thank you very much. And I simply wanted to add one more thing. I personally look at Hungary with much admiration, because it demonstrates also to other countries that it is possible to take the ideal of democracy and independence seriously, and that it is not impossible for a country to choose its own way and not to submit itself to liberal ideological dictatorship. So I very much hope that Hungary will keep up this role model. And I also hope that with this interview we have done a little bit to help that.
Yeah. Countries and also Italy, and I think it's maybe Hungary the first in this way, but we will have followers. I'm sure about that.
I hope so. So please try to fight all those unjust accusations and lead the way. Thank you.
Thank you too. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.